What's up, everybody? It is the Grand Line Gazette where we talk about One Piece damn near every damn day. So, that's Kev, I'm Corey. Talk about One Piece a lot. We're on chapter 1140. We're hoping you are too, because we have a
hmm
spoiler discussion for you. King Harold could be a traitor. We're going to talk about it a little bit. If you guys think King Harold is a traitor, let us know. If you don't think he's a traitor, let us know. But I mean, the evidence is kind of just stacking against him. Now, it's
hmm
arbitrary evidence, but it's evidence. It's like Loki doesn't really seem like the worst kind of guy. And it kind of seems like Figureland has been there before. So it's like maybe there have been interactions with Loki and Figureland before, and they just wrote that off as being Shanks. Who knows?
Very
We
true.
do know that the newest introduced God's Knight, Saint Summers, asked Shamrock, "Why are you in Elbaph? Are you visiting Harold's grave?" That's suspicious. That's very suspicious.
Very, very weird line to
That
pull
is
out.
a very suspicious line, especially when he was talking to the guy's son like 20 minutes ago. So, Kev, can you what are your thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, I mean, let's go over like kind of the because we recently got the full. Are you sharing your screen? Can you share your screen for me?
I got you.
Um, we got the full translation breakdown here recently. We use Manga Plus here on this channel. So kind of how it broke down was so what's the deal here? Yes, the situation in the Holy Land is rather dire. This is what Saint Summers is saying, but it's all gone wrong ever since the Reverie. So he asks Shamrock, so what's the situation and the mission? What were you doing on this unaffiliated country? Because they do not pay reparations to the God's Knights. They don't pay the holy tribute. Are you paying a visit to Harold's grave? So, I mean, it's so strange because when they originally showed up in Elbaph, they transported straight to where King Harold took his last breath in the castle amongst skeletons of dozens of giants. So, why would this be such common knowledge to Saint Summers that that's one of his first questions. Hey, are you here trying to pay respects? Or I guess not paying respects, but paying a visit. We I guess I'm inferring that it's a respectful thing. But I mean, if you're traveling all this way, you're only doing that for a friend, right? Unless you're just one of those grade A haters. I get it. You just want to see your ops die and you want to see the ops grave. But
Yeah, and it's very strange because I mean, looking at this picture of Harold in the back, it's like we could be doing the thing we did with the first Hokage, where he looked intimidating, but he was just a joyous guy. You know what I mean? That could obviously be happening right now. We do know that he has like ancient giant blood, that he removed his own horns,
Mhm.
as shown by the scars right here. But it's like, what else do we know about Harold? We know that he was a peaceful ruler that wanted to go against war, and he was trying to start this new age of peace. Actually, to the point, or so far to the point where the children of this new age don't really want war.
Yeah,
So it could be, in theory, an age of weaker people that could be taken over easier or taken captive easier. So, I, is there a situation where Harold, unbeknownst to himself, like actually made his whole country weaker? Maybe he was trying to join the Reverie. Maybe he wanted to be one of the kingdoms. Maybe they were going to getting a false promise. You know what I mean? There's also
I
things that they
you're right.
know that others don't know. So it's like maybe there was a connection with Emu where they had communications with this royal family. There's just a lot of mystery.
It's quite a bit of mystery, and between panels here, you see that Shamrock answers the question. We don't hear the full blown out response as of yet, but he goes from "Are you paying a visit to Harold's grave?" to "Okay, got it." you want us to kidnap these kids. So maybe he's like, no, I don't want to talk to that traitor. He reneged on our deal or something like that. We don't know as of yet. But we know that, I mean, it's weird because in this panel, they're also doing, they're having this conversation like 400 feet above the kids that they're about to kidnap.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're right there. And so none of these kids really feel their hockey. So going back to what you were saying, I think it was more along the lines Harold's mission was might have been to fatten up the pig for the slaughter, make the land of warriors into the land of pacifists, make them easier to conquer.
And maybe that was like a false promise. You know what I mean? There could be something that he was trying to protect more than his honor. Like something that's like, bro, like I can't, like if they really have, like if I know about ancient kingdoms and everything like that, like I have ancient royal knowledge passed down through the histories, you know what I mean? Passed down through the kings and royalty. I know what's going on in the past in the Void Century. I know what's going on past the Void Century. I know what is truly a cause for alarm when it comes to the end of the world. And
True.
maybe they threatened that. And he's like, no, I rather just keep my kingdom safe. If you just leave my kingdom alone, like we'll just back up and I'll make it so my guys don't go out and attack your shores and everything like that. For you, giants will just be a myth. We'll just fade off the earth and you'll just deal with the left. Who's left? You know what I mean? But it could be a preservation thing. You know what I mean? A forest
My
preservation.
my only holdback from that is basically, I mean, how much I'm assuming about Harold because I'm this is a very neat theory because it also ties into why would Loki, why would Luffy already think Loki is a good guy, in a lack of a better term? He's willing to take a chance on him, unleash him, and put him back in the genie bottle if he doesn't hold up his end of the bargain. But he's asked on several occasions, "Hey, is Loki a good guy?" and all this and all these things. So is if we find out King Harold is a traitor, Loki ends up being the person who dispatched the traitor who may have been setting up all of Elbaph for annihilation,
Yeah.
which then turns him into the good guy. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this
And
all
it's
makes
like
sense.
all a lot of these theories have roots in just Loki not being a bad guy. Like
Sure.
it could be he thought Shamrock was Shanks. Shamrock
Oh,
went there and then like maybe Shamrock went on missions alone. You know what I mean out there? And then he talked to Shamrock like, "Oh, like you're actually not bad." Like, "Hey." And Shamrock's like, "Oh, you're not a piece of shit, dad. Like, I'll talk to you." Like, you know what I mean? And then he ends up visiting him sometimes and everything like that. But like the underlying mission is to like to weaken him for the slaughter to take his devil fruit. At this point, maybe they don't know the difference between the devil fruit they have and the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Maybe this is pre that knowledge for the world government. Like they're still confusing the two.
interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
but world government using Shamrock or whatever means, whoever, it could not be Shamrock, just separate that part. Um, convince him that it is in their best interest to act opposite of how they really were. It gets to the point where the world government sends some agents, could be Shanks, could be Shamrock. Actually, I think it's Shamrock, and he goes to go kill Harold. He's not trying to kill Harold, or Harold ain't trying to die by Shamrock because he's like, I don't want them to have my devil fruit. Loki's there. He's like, Loki, you gotta kill me so that we can keep our devil fruit. You know what I mean? Loki
I
says,
like it.
I gotta do what I gotta do. And he looks and he's like, that's Shanks. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
pre being blinded. But I like
Well,
these things like
and
kind of fit together in a way.
well, he may not have known Shanks at this point either. He may have just seen Shamrock, and then later on, Shanks is the one who captures him. And he's like, "Wait a second, I've seen you before." And it's like,
Or
no, you
Shamrock
haven't.
captured it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shamrock captured it,
Yeah, it
right?
could go either way for sure.
Left,
Yeah,
never came back, and then Shanks rolled up, and they're like, "It's you!"
it's you, the savior of Elbaph, and you're like,
You know how they'd be partying when they like people. You saw what they did for the Strides. They're like, "This the guy." Hey,
"This the
where's that chick
guy."
you hang out with?
There is a drawback to this, and this is the only thing I can really think of, and it's that I think what Harold was doing was actually the correct path. As we see in our own world, where endless wars they don't stop. I mean, so wanting better for your children, for the next generation, where they don't have to lose brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, like they are able to live and just be left alone. That's kind of what you have given these kids of Elbath, outside of Colin, obviously, and they've flourished. Like they like it. They don't. It's not like they yearn for the old ways or anything like that.
What?
And so
Oh,
maybe they let him like just kind of do what he was already gonna do, and then they just waited until it was long enough, and then they were like, "All right, now we can kill him.
you're like, okay, well
It's been long
now,
enough."
yeah, yeah. Now it's like, sorry, pull the trigger, bro.
Yeah,
And that's why it's like, hey, you gonna go? Are you visiting his grave or something? I know you guys were close before you had to kill him.
yeah. Ex- and we've seen where best friends are sent off to kill best friends
And
multiple
faux
times.
fathers, you know what I mean? It's all
Yep,
about faux family and faux friends. You know what I mean? Faux family and
exactly.
fake friends. One Piece.
One
Um,
Piece.
yeah, a lot of this is kind of just arbitrary because we do not know
Sure.
Harold's true intentions. We don't know his personality yet. But a lot of this stuff kind of gets filled in the blanks because it's like we know Oda's patterns aren't direct, but we know
Mhm.
he gives us all the evidence of what he's like portraying. We just have to connect all the pieces. So we're trying to use all the pieces we have. Maybe there's some
Sure.
spare pieces he hasn't dropped yet, but we're kind of filling in this picture. How do you guys feel about this theory? How do you guys feel about like Harold, um, Loki being not a bad guy, Harold being the
Yeah.
bad guy, unwillingly, unknowingly? But at the end of the day, it's like to your point about like looking for the future for like the new generation. What happens when you are 500, 600, upwards to 800 years old, seeing so much life, and you're like, at what lengths would you go to preserve peace, and what would you need to see to jar you to the point where you're just
Exactly.
like, hey man, like what we've been doing is wrong.
Well, and people talk about this when they talk about like letting a war go on. They say where if we end the said war quickly, we only get 200,000 casualties. But if you get a long war, you have 800,000. So it's like it's more humanitarian to just kill the 200,000. But I mean, it's just thinking like, wow, like you're just erasing people, and it's like, oh well, it's actually for the greater good, so it's fine. It's like, yeah, I bet the 200,000 people that you just killed off would beg to differ, but
Yeah, the One Piece fan letter when we saw the people that went to Marineford, where it's like these people are just normal people that just got called because their job is going to the military. Like some of
yeah.
these people just couldn't get the grades and didn't have money to start a bakery, so they had to
Or
join.
it's as simple as, bro, you got a kid, you got to feed the kids. It's like, yeah, like that's just,
Now
I
you're
mean, we all
dodging Mihawk hockey slashes.
exact. I mean, dude, we have people who do crappy jobs in the real world. It's like, why do you do this? It's to support yourself or your family, and it's like that's it.
Because I
Simple.
like going home, eating, and having a TV that's on for the 8 hours to myself. I got.
Yeah. So I get it. I'm right there with you. I mean, and the greatest theory, the better theory I like that you brought up was shit. Loki and Harold could both be good people. Shamrock could have been there, like you said, to take his devil fruit, and the only way he was able to get it away from the Gods Knights is to give it to Loki somehow. And maybe killing him was that way. So
Over to that
I
point, we do not know Harudin's relationship with his father or
sure.
his brother. So it's like he hasn't said anything about the subject. Everybody else has mentioned Loki. Every
Hmm.
other giant has mentioned Loki except Harudin. So we will see. He could not believe any of it. He's just like, I gotta hold my fucking breath, I guess.
Yeah, my brother wouldn't do that.
I gotta bite my
Actually,
tongue. Yeah,
you're confused.
yeah.
It's like okay.
But I'm
So
the
I mean,
possible new king, so I can't exactly.
yeah, it'd be kind of bad to. I don't know. I'm right there with you. I think that he may question it more because that's just the type of character I think Harden kind of is. It's like he seems to be that out of the box thinker. He already did that with Road, so I think him having that same mentality toward his own brother, but him going to Dressrosa to get the Mira Mira no Mi kind of also made it seem like he needs a power to fight Loki in a way. So I'm open to it though. It's interesting to see, but you guys tell us. I mean, what are your thoughts on this recent chapter? What do you guys think Harold what's going on with Harold?
and
What happened with him?
in a special question, what do you guys think Loki's devil fruit is? Because with that mention of the Mira Mira no Mi, Harden was probably trying to counter his brother's devil fruit. Like get or something that resembled it. He either tried to counter it or tried to resemble it. And what's better than the sun? What's closer to the sun than a giant fireball? You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Fair
So we will
enough.
see. Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and we will be back for another one next time.
Peace.